Indoor palms, thriving in winter. How do I keep these alive inside? And why are they inside anyway? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Hi everyone, it's Tim. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you watching. So today I'm going to talk about my indoor palms and how I'm taking care of them, how I make them survive, some problems I've had in the past, and why they are even in here, which is pretty obvious because it is so cold outside in New York. This has been the harshest winter we've had in a long time, and the forecast just keeps going colder and colder. And we're already in the middle of February, and I thought maybe in the long-term forecast I might see some decent weather coming up, but I don't. And all my friends in Europe are making me very, very jealous because, yes, you've had some cold temperatures at night, but you have promise coming up. I keep looking at your forecast. Sorry, the evil parrots in the background making noise as always. And so we're gonna look at some plants today, and I'm gonna talk about them. So I'm starting with my Cuban Royal Palm, and this one has grown a lot. It's getting almost too big, but I noticed this morning that I have a little bit of spider mites on this one, and it is prone to spider mites, so I have to deal with that. So I'm gonna zoom in here in just a second on the leaves or on the fronds and show you when the sun hits it, you can see the spider mites, and I'm hoping I can get in close enough so you can actually see one of them moving. I see the telltale signs of them right in there. I'm going to go down to another branch, and I think you can see it better where the sun is hitting. So there's the telltale signs, and look, I can see one moving up over on the left-hand side there. Yeah. Ugh. So I'm basically going to put these, I have a bathroom that I don't use, and I kind of lay the plant down because it's so tall and spray it with horticultural oil and just let it sit there for a while. I would take it outside, but I can't, but that usually will do it and get it just fine. So next is my triangle palm, and my friend Chris gave me this, and I really, really love it. It's lush and pretty. And with all my palms, I really don't start fertilizing them when they're inside until February, which I'm doing right now. And they tend to take off, but that's also when the bugs start attacking. And I don't really see any on here, so I'm happy about that. It seems to be resistant to the spider mites, even though it was just moments ago right up next to the Cuban Royal Palm. But I don't see the signs that I saw on the other one. So it's a palm that's definitely a little bit more resistant to spider mites. And here is my bottle palm. Just wanted to show you how tall it is. This was also bought several years ago locally, and it has grown a lot. In my video from Mexico, there were quite a few bottle palms everywhere, and I took some video of them, but they're just such a pretty palm and a pretty shape, but they are susceptible to spider mites too, so I am taking a look at this. It doesn't look as bad as the Cuban, but I still think I need to do something about it because there's no chance of it really going outside to be sprayed anytime in the near future here because it's so cold out. So obviously this plant is way, way too big to spray down in the bathroom. So what I did is I just put some detergent on this and some water, and basically you can just wipe everything down so that it will take off anything that is there. And luckily, this one's not in bad shape, but I'm just gonna do it anyway because it is prone to spider mites. And if you just have a way of wiping everything down, you can definitely solve that problem so that you're not dealing with it. At least get it to the point where you can get through the rest of the winter with it. And make sure you do both sides because that does make a difference. Don't do just the top, do both sides. So here's a question for all of you, and I would love for you to put something in the comments. Do you do this with your palms? Do you separate the leaves like this? Because I do it, and I think it helps the palm out, but I'm not so sure. I definitely do this on my Chilean wine palm and on my mule palm, and I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but let me know. I would love to know who does this as well. So I'm back in the kitchen just because it's a really good place to video and show off the palms where they're not all together. So here is one of my Pindo palms. I have a large Pindo outside that is covered up for the winter. I've got a couple of baby ones in here, and all of these inside were grown from seeds, so that's really exciting. And I love when I have plants that I grew from seeds. So I got these from Rare Palm Seeds, and I love them. They didn't all germinate, but these did. So I think I have 4 of them that germinated from seed, and it was a pretty easy process, and I'm pretty happy with it. And while I'm in the kitchen, I need to point out, because several of you asked, I painted these cabinets, and it's the second time I painted them. I think I have some pictures that I'm going to put in here. This is how bad the cabinets looked when I bought it. And then I painted them this color for a little while. And then I even stenciled the floor, which was a gigantic process, and that's gone now. And one of the fun things I did was add some color to these blank panels back there. So over here and over here, it's very Brady Bunch, which if you're not in the US, you may not know what the Brady Bunch is, but they were kind of an iconic 60s and 70s TV show that I was raised on, and I would love to live in the Brady house. Not that my house is anything like that, but I love the little pop of color I got. So my Pindo Palm, I really, really like. And if anybody, this drives me crazy, even in the wintertime. I have clover growing up in all my plants. And a lot of these plants that are in pots are on my deck. They're not even at ground level, and still somehow the seeds of the clover get blown up there on my deck, and they love to be around the palm trees. So if anyone has a great way to get rid of it, because I can keep pulling on it, and it still comes back. So next up is some of my Washingtonia Filiferas. So I find, oddly, sorry about the parrot, that they do pretty well inside, better than the Washingtonia Robustas. I struggle with the Robustas inside. They're very easy to kill or die, and I find the Filiferas have a more will to survive in my house. I also find that the spider mites attack the Robusta in a big, big way, and I have to keep spraying them. And I find with the Filiferas, the spider mites don't go to as much. And that doesn't mean that's a hard, fast rule. I'm just talking about that is what I have found. So I have several I cannot say that word, Filiferas growing in the house, and I find them much easier to get through the winter. And maybe because it's so dry inside with the heat on, and that might be the reason, where the Robustas like more humidity and everything, and it remains to be seen. Everybody's taught, I have one big Filifera, never gonna be able to say that, outside, and everyone has told me it will not do well in New York, even with me covering it up in the winter, just because it is too humid and damp here. So we will see, but I just know that if you want an indoor palm for a while, you're gonna have more luck with this than the Robusta. If you're bringing plants in, maybe that's something to consider. I just think the Robustas are very hard. And this is my ribbon palm. And I haven't really seen one of these in real life, but I've got this one that I got also on Etsy here, and it has grown a lot. I think it looks a lot like a Sabal Palmetto at this point in its life. And it's got some new growth on it, and it seems pretty happy inside. I fertilize it, and it just looks like it's doing great, and I don't see any pest on it. So I am hoping one day to put this outside. I haven't really read about anyone overwintering this palm with my methods, but it's definitely worth an experiment. And this is one of my favorite palms. This is the Carnarvon Gorge Palm, or the Livistona Nitida. I really like this palm. I think it looks really interesting. Again, it looks a little bit like a Sabal Palmetto, but I think it's just a gorgeous palm. It has really pretty leaves. It's got some thorns. It's doing great. And supposedly, this is very hardy. And I just don't have any examples of anyone trying to zone push it in a northern climate, but maybe some of you have. So please let me know. Text me right in the comments. I would love to know, but I really like this palm a lot, and I think it's going to go outside soon. And I just wanted to show this, even though I showed one before. This is another one, a Livistona decora, that I grew from seed, and these are even hardy down to, it says, 12 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't imagine very long, but that's what I'm reading. This is my slowest growing palm of all. This is a Bismarckia. I've had it for, I think, 3 years, 4 years. It almost looked like it died several years ago, and I just wouldn't throw it away, and then it came back. But it is not growing fast. I have another bigger one that you probably saw in one of my videos from fall that I got. And here's the larger one downstairs in my garage that I got for my birthday from Paul. It seems to have new growth on it, and it's under my fluorescent lights. Here are my baby Mediterranean fan palms from seeds from my palm outside, and they're all growing in the sun. They look good. More and more are coming up all the time. I'm excited about that. So baby palms, I love it. And these I'll be enjoying as they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And here's one of several Sabal palmettos I have. Or the Cabbage Palm. I want a big one of these so badly, and if you watched my old videos, you know I bought one, but it was a hurricane cut, and I was really hoping it would survive, and everything I read said it wouldn't, and they were right. It did not survive. It did not grow at all. It just was not. I wanted a regenerated one, and I'm still disappointed over that, and I'm still disappointed that the company I bought it from did not make good on it, even though they told me they would. So one day I will have a large palmetto, one day, like my friend Lenny in Long Island. It just kills me because he's got two beautiful ones, and I really want them. And here are my Sago Palms. So I showed a couple of weeks ago how I was dealing with mealy bugs on this one right here, but the other ones are not affected at all, which is really odd since they're so close. But I think I have solved the mealy bug problem on them. They are technically not a palm tree, but we all kind of view them in the palm family, even though they are not. And I think they're pretty easy to overwinter inside. They usually don't have bug problems like I am having. I have had these two large ones for many, many years. I have a lot of smaller ones too. People tend to give them to me, and I like them because you can put them in the dirt outside in the ground, and they're very easy to dig up for winter. And here is a baby one I grew from seed that I got from Palm Springs 2 years ago. I think I collected 10 seeds and only one germinate. So here are a few of my Washingtonia robustas. They're downstairs in the garage, which is cooler. They're under fluorescent lights, which is just enough to get them through the winter. And I spray these constantly with horticultural oil just to keep the spider mites away. And you have to be careful with watering. Don't water too much. They don't look great, but I think these are going to make it through the winter. And like I said, they're kind of hard to get through. And this is the cat palm. This is your typical palm that you will buy at a box store. They have tons of them. They sell them at Easter. They look pretty for a while usually, and then they start to dry out. But this one's doing pretty well because it's right across from my koi pond. A friend gave me that. And this is not a palm at all, although it's called a Madagascar palm. And it's technically a succulent or somewhat in the cactus family. It has thorns, as you will see. It's got multiple heads on top, and it is growing quite a bit. And I put this in the ground in the summer and dig it up in the fall and bring it inside. But I think it looks fantastic, even though it's not really a palm tree, but I still like it a lot. And I think it adds great fun to my garden when you have it planted in the ground outside and everybody sees it and they're like, wow, what is that? So always fun to have these. So these are all my baby Trachycarpus fortunae seedlings that I got from seeds from my palm trees in my yard. And they tend to do great inside, no matter the size. I have lots and lots of babies, but even the bigger ones, I think, do just fine. Some of the large palm trees I have in the yard were inside for many, many years until I decided they were big enough to put outside. So definitely a good palm for indoors if you're not quite ready to put them outdoors. And few pests with these at all. I've had really good luck with them and no issues. And finally, my Phoenix dactylifera, the edible date palms, which I showed on just my most recent video how I grew them from seed. They do great inside as well. They do great outside with protection. They're a great palm to have, and so I highly recommend. So I think that actually might be all the palm trees I have inside. I think I might have a few small sables in here somewhere. They're downstairs and I can't find them right now. I have too many plants downstairs. One day I need to do a tour of all the tropicals I have in the garage. But what I want to say is, you can have the palm trees inside. You just have to constantly check for pests. You need to worry about how much you water them. And I watch YouTube videos all the time. And especially when I get up in the morning, I get up really early and I'm always watching what other palm tree growers are doing. And Alex out in Long Island, who is a weatherman, he just did one on light with all his plants. And he has grow lights everywhere, and that is the ideal. That really is the ideal. And you look at my house and I don't really have grow lights. I use the light coming in around my plants, and I use plain old regular fluorescent lights in the garage. And so my goal is a little different than Alex's. Alex was talking about how his plants are thriving indoors, and I think mine is different. I'm just trying to get them through the winter so they can go back outdoors. And maybe I'll change my tune at some point and buy a bunch of grow lights, but right now it works pretty well. I think you've seen them. They're doing okay. So yeah, maybe mine are surviving and Alex's are thriving. And I love Alex's plants. I mean, they're amazing and they look really, really good. But different things. So that just kind of shows you can do very different things with your plants as long as you have a plan, and you may have to experiment with them a little bit, because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for Alex may not work for others as well. That's why I love this community that we all are posting stuff on YouTube all the time, because I watch it and I learn from Alex all the time about how those grow lights really do help his plants. And maybe mine are kind of in semi-dormancy because they're not getting as much light. And maybe if I had grow lights, maybe they would grow faster more. I don't know. That's something I could experiment with. Maybe I get some grow lights and put them on just above some of the really expensive things that I really care about, and see if I can get growth during the winter as opposed to just kind of holding them over till spring starts. I don't know. So tell me what you think. That's why I love when people write comments and we interact. And if you write a comment and you make some, like, well, in my place, I do this and I do this and blah, 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 I usually respond. And I think a lot of people don't go back and look and see what other people have put in the comments maybe a week or two later. When I watch YouTube videos, I tend to watch the video, I tend to comment, and then I love to read what everybody else is commenting on those YouTube videos. And I watch, I think most of the great palm tree growers, pushers throughout the world, I'm probably subscribed to. If there's someone you think I have not subscribed to and they're really good, I would love to know who they are, because we all have something to learn. And that's my favorite thing to do, is get up in the morning and drink coffee and turn on YouTube and watch what people are doing with their palm trees. And it's always exciting. And sometimes it's just fun watching just anything. There is this one YouTuber that they show palms in Rehoboth Beach. I think it's called Shoe Television. And they don't even talk. They just drive around and show the palm trees. And I was watching this morning and I saw Pindo Palms and I saw Sables and I saw Trachycarpus, and they were all in the snow. And of course I'm drinking my coffee and I'm going, how can they do this? It's not fair. I have mine all covered up and they have nothing. But Rehoboth Beach is in a better planting zone than I am, but I still have envy on that. But yeah, so watch the other YouTube people and comment, and please comment on mine and like and subscribe. And I hope all of you learned something here. Just experiment, but you can bring them inside. You just got to learn what you're doing. Thanks for watching.